But Saundry today, Racing Victoria has released its new strategic plan, Racing to the Future, to 2016, following on from the 2020 vision from your predecessor. Bit of a roadmap, blueprint for the immediate future of Victorian racing. Can you give us an overview and what you hope to achieve?
Yeah, thanks Bruce. This has been an industry engagement with clubs and participants since April this year, where we embarked on a number of consultations with each of the groups to seek from them what they believe was RVL's priorities for the future. There's been really good engagement with our RVL board and management, and we now have a plan that sets up the next 3 years, delivers some priority activities and focuses on future growth.
In most cases, if you see a strategic plan, you expect to open up and bells and whistles jump out. This is more a conservative roadmap to the future.
This is absolutely a roadmap. It demonstrates what RVL will focus on over the next 3 years, the levers that it needs to pull, that it can control, and other levers that it needs to partner with clubs and participants to drive future growth.
What you've identified here is 6 what you call game changers that will take you on that path. If we work through them, and they're quite obvious, but you can expand on these. Work with the clubs to integrate Victorian-controlled media assets under a new and more effective governance and funding model.
Well, simply put, we've got clubs at the moment wanting to make investments in their online space. We've got RVL who deferred an investment in its online website and other digital activities. What we said to the clubs, why don't we get together and have one shop front for Victorian racing in the digital environment, and we've had a joint digital working party working since April in developing a business case that will deliver a joint digital outcome for Victorian racing.
That digital outcome in terms of wagering and also information and consumption of racing content seems to be the big growth area that you're going to focus on.
Well, I think you only have to look today, kids as young as 18 through to adults at 60 to 70, they're all engaged online, whether it's tablets or handhelds, and that is the future. That's where we are today, and racing needs to be part of that, and the customer is demanding that. The racing customer shouldn't have to go to 6 different sites to consume their racing product for the Victorian race clubs.
Obviously, I hope the answer is yes. Is this a realistic outcome, possible achievement?
Well, we're certainly confident that the clubs with RVL, this isn't about one body controlling another. This is about 5 entities with CRV, 3 metropolitan clubs and RVL, working together with the right expertise. I don't have all the answers. We've retained some really good advice within the clubs and with RVL to make sure we can build a platform where the customer comes first.
Point 2, game changer here. Restructure the race day calendar and develop more innovative programming to add more major events with key attendance.
We run 576 race meetings a year that generates in the vicinity of $500 billion a year in turnover. We need to find ways to grow the $5 billion in turnover by 3%, 4% and 5% over the next 3 or 4 years. The calendar is an important part of our growth agenda, both nationally and internationally. So we will look to engage with the clubs on developing ways to innovate the race meetings. That might include further night racing into markets like Hong Kong, into Asia, and we'll get that feedback from our wagering partners, Tabcorp, our key wagering partners and other wagering operators that approve for race fields betting. Will have views on how our calendar should be structured. So we're going to consult those people. We're going to talk to the clubs. I know the clubs have got some views on how the industry should be structured in terms of race meetings. So I've got a view, nothing's off the table. We're open for business, we're open for suggestions. But one thing we do know, we need to change the structure that we've currently got in place.
So could you envisage another night racing venue in Victoria?
That's some analysis we'll do, and we'll consult with the industry on that.
Point 3, continue to invest in the growing strength of the Showcase Spring Racing Carnival by also trying to own the late summer, early autumn. I think things might have changed this week from New South Wales in relation to that.
Well, it has. New South Wales to be congratulated. It's a great thing for New South Wales racing and Australian racing, the announcement of their 2-week carnival. Fantastic. It's something Victorian customers can bet on and engage and certainly enjoy fantastic racing. We want to look at the summer, early autumn period on how we reinvigorate that. I know we've tried over a number of years to capture the hearts and minds of Victorians. We know it's a busy sporting and event-focused period, but we need racing to have a voice in Victoria around that late summer, early autumn period. So once again, whether it's country cups playing a profile, whether it's a restructure of how we run our races, that's something that we're going to look at.
I think one of the big ticket items here is the drive of international growth through expanded wagering and media packages to key international markets. That's where the growth is, surely.
Absolutely, and we generate circa $250 million now through an arrangement with Sky Channel. I've got an absolute passion to say Victorian racing through TVN or through our new digital platform should have an international audience directly to the customer. We have a number of groups that do play an important role in distributing Victorian racing to other parts of the world. What I'd have to say is some of the middlemen that do that, I think some of those revenue streams have got to come back to racing. So I think we can do it better. That's not to say that Sky have done a bad job. It's just the way the structure of the business is at the moment. We believe there's a mighty opportunity into Asia, and I'd like to think that we'd generate 20, 30, 40, 50,000 customers over the next 3 to 5 years that engage on Victorian and in Victorian racing.
And that's the way we package the racing to show to that international market. We do it now for the spring for Hong Kong, perhaps, with 22 minutes of mounting yard coverage, which is tailored to meet their needs.
That's right, and people betting in Hong Kong love an integrated form, data and news package, and we'll tailor those packages for the different markets. And I think that's the next 10 years. It's very important that we get those markets right, that we understand that there'll be different languages that we'll have to create the content in. We understand that, and that's all part of a joint digital approach that we're progressing with the clubs.
Because you're basically saying at the moment growth is fairly static in wagering as it is, whereas there's a new marketplace out there which is pretty much untapped.
Absolutely. Internationally, markets are opening up all the time. We need to position ourselves. It's not a short-term gain. It's a matter of building the foundations today to ensure longer term that Victorian racing with TVN and New South Wales racing have a real profile on the international stage.
And a couple of other game changes here. Point 5, the female engagement in the sport, be it through participants or administrators.
Well, Bruce, what we're starting to see through our licensed trainers and the apprentices coming through, we've got a terrific demand for females wanting to be involved in the sport. And the one platform we have got that's different to any other sport is an area where males and females can compete equally. That's a competitive advantage we've got, and we're going to make sure we've got programs and pathways in place to allow females to be involved in the future of our great sport.
And obviously through returns to participants will be things like strengthening your revenue base. Obviously you've got a great joint venture, and there are ways of growing that revenue base, but that's one of your game changers.
Well, it's important that with Tabcorp, we're engaged with Tabcorp now. How do we grow and develop the Tabcorp Vic JV, whether that's through loyalty programs, affiliate programs, where we know has worked quite successfully in the corporate bookmaking environment. The media rights is another important component of that. The digital vision for Victorian and New South Wales racing currently is not on the Tabcorp website. Well, we see that as an absolute priority in order to grow the JV. So there's those types of activities that we're engaged with Tab at the moment, and they're very receptive to all those ideas. But
also Thoroughbred Racing's market shares declined. Greyhound Racing's positioned themselves well. How do you get around that, attest that issue?
Well, we take the view that we've got to grow the entire market and at the same time position Thoroughbred Racing to improve its market share. I think one of the things Greyhound Racing have done really well is organise themselves nationally. Thoroughbred Racing hasn't done that. We've really tried to run our own race in each of the states. Victorian Racing, to improve its share, can't do that alone. It needs the cooperation of New South Wales Racing, Queensland, South Australia, Perth. We have really good dialogue. There's a working party, Paul Bloodworth and Scott Kennedy from New South Wales and Victoria, are engaged on a race time template to try and make sure that Thoroughbred Racing is appropriately profiled across the wagering footprint 7 days a week. So that's an exciting project that we need to get right if we're going to continue to grow and develop Australian racing.
The old control the clock argument, which was spoken about for...
Yeah, it's controlling, well, making sure that Thoroughbred Racing is appropriately profiled on the various channels that are available to us, and there's lots of work that needs to be done there. But if we can't have multiple meetings running up against each other, it's that's a recipe for disaster longer term. It's a cost that the industry nationally can't continue to fund. Increasing cost of product but a flatline revenue stream out of the bookmaking fraternity more generally.
You've outlined in this this plan that how you will measure the success of these ideas, things like growing attendance to 1.4 million, free-to-air TV growth there with the marquee events through Channel 7 and so on, international turnover growth, income earned from wagering, all those sorts of things. What's the next step then to try and achieve such outcomes that you outline here?
Well, importantly, I think the first 12 to 18 months is about building the plans and the foundations that allow us to deliver that growth. So things around the racing program, we've got a 12-month lead time on anything we do. We've got 14 and 15 is probably the year that we'll start to try and engage some change in the racing program. We've got a terrific relationship with Seven. It's the first year. We've been delighted with the coverage, and I know Seven are looking forward to further profiling thoroughbred racing both here and in New South Wales throughout the 5 years of the contract. We know there's opportunities with Tabcorp and our other wagering operators. So it's measuring success that will allow us to further innovate, and if we can innovate and drive new change, we'll be able to put more money back into prize money.
Okay, good luck.
Thanks, Bruce.